I survived 100 days in RLCraft. I bet you didn't believe that for 1 second. Nope, this is better. I suffered for 50 hours in RLCraft. I'm sorry this episode took so long to come out, but it's a good one, with lots of death. It was startling for me because it's so new. Anyways, I'm really close to 1 million subscribers, and it'd mean a lot to me if you'd subscribe if you enjoy the video. And 20,000 likes and I'll do episode 3. Now, waking up in the morning, I was getting familiar with the mod pack again. Also, with my new neighbors in the sky. They've always been there, but it's really strange because they've never noticed me before. Oh, well, except for right now. I'm just going to take a wild guess and say he really wants to show me the land from up there and definitely not kill me. But sadly for him, I prefer to stay on the ground and not test out how far I can fall before my kneecaps can't handle it anymore. With the neighbors sitting on my roof, I headed downstairs. You all gave me a lot of advice and suggestions on what to do, and please, keep them coming. I need to know what to do for the next episode. And one comment I saw that made a lot of sense to me said that I should get all of my skills to level 8, which I'm incredibly close to and won't take long at all. I want to unlock all of these sub-skill things too, by the way. Before getting into the experience grind, all of you told me these statues' great things are for teleporting. Apparently, if I find another one or multiple, I can teleport to them, but I don't know if it'll cost me experience. Also, compasses can show coordinates and I should make, oh hey, another teleporting stone thing. Huh, I guess this is useful and not in a bad spot. It also doesn't cost any experience to teleport luckily, and I was going to see if I can mine it so I could place it somewhere else, but seeing how long it was taking me, I figured that was a big no, and this game doesn't want me to have fun. I smacked this dinosaur on the butt and he went into a meltdown. Seeing how much experience I need and how much everything gives, which isn't a lot, we'll be doing a lot of fighting, which today's sponsor can help with, Apex Gaming PCs. We all know how it's terrible to fight monsters with a low FPS, so I worked with them to create 3 different computers for you all, which you can customize to your needs and wants. And if you use code SKIES at checkout, you'll get 5% off your order. The sun was setting in, I thought about staying up to fight mobs, but I don't feel like dying to some bones with aimbot after 2 shots. Then I heard this weird voice. I followed it out onto one of the arms, and it was this little gremlin thing. He couldn't get to me, and I proceeded to boop him on his forehead. My wolves gained the sight of Navy SEAL snipers and went to look at this incredible view. I found out the gremlin can fly and said hi to it. Found out the rat has an aimbot and got some items. I just went to sleep and got back to the compass part. Apparently, they'll show me my coordinates, so I can actually get the coordinates to my house in case I ever die again, but I don't have redstone for it. It's time I make a mine shaft. I just need a pretty spot for it. Then the Pokemon Sparrow came after me. I don't know where it came from, other than its mom, and I really didn't want to fight it. So I smacked it and waited for my dogs to kill it for me. Until they didn't want to fight it and wanted to be friends with it. The Pokemon wouldn't leave me alone. It kept on asking for 200 days. And then I asked it a question. With that thing gone, I went behind my tower and marked a spot for the mine shaft. I dug 3 blocks down and then found this cave. Very convenient, I know. It's a tiny place, and at first I found iron, and then a nightmare. What is that? What is that? What is going on? What are you? Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh! Oh my gosh! Why was that? Oh my... so yeah, that was fun. Luckily, I left the entrance only 2 blocks tall, and my luck really paid off. Almost died about 4 different ways right there. Going back to its dead body, it left me this axe. And, well, it's kinda really good, except I need a level 8 gathering to use it. But I'm very close and it won't take me long. So that's the first skill that I'm going to be getting to level 8. I went back into the cave and this is a good sign for how things are going to go in here. I was going to go lower into the caves until I saw this baby zombie run across my screen and decided I didn't need to go that low. You all also told me that these rock monsters that spawn from any kind of stone can be killed easily with a pick. I also need coal and wanted to see if you guys were telling the truth. However, nothing came, except for the zombie. And it reminded me why I love wolves so much. I was planning on doing the same thing to the baby zombie, except I'm a lot stronger than I thought, and I one-shot the baby. Felt really good. Now, you see this lava, right? It's very important and honestly my favorite weapon, but also my least favorite weapon. You're welcome for the mixed signals. Oh, and this monster rushed me. Somehow it ran into the lava, thank God, and apparently it's a chupacabra. Yay. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's a ton of growls and monster sounds down here, and I need to keep going lower to get to redstone. Also, my dogs are dumb, and apparently 2,000 degrees of molten rock doesn't tell them that don't touch it. I would block off the lava, but it's a really good weapon, like right here. This monster smacked my cheeks around the corner, was kind of impressed, and then my dogs attacked. The thing was super tanky and rushed me, but also ran into lava, along with about 4 of my dogs. And I really wanted to put water down to save them, but I didn't want to delete the lava. Then I decided to save the last fire dog and the lava went away, which was awful because I entered the movie Aliens. This monster actually scared me and made me lose 15 years off my life. Also, I lost my life here. I luckily respawned in my tower, however, with my dogs that were poisoned and went to bed. I traveled back down the stairs, noticed there's some fluorescent chupacabra, yep, and went back to the mineshaft and I just wanted to get my items and get out. I really didn't want to fight that boss. I slowly recovered my items and tried my best to stay undetected, until the scary monster rat Butthead saw me and came after me. I was hoping on my dogs to kill it, but I've never seen something run this fast. It put all Black Friday shoppers to shame. I was sprinting to the entrance until I didn't see it anymore. I slowly made my way back down like an idiot and then found its dead body. It gave me a poison gland, which I don't know what it does or if I should even keep it, and then sprinted back to my items. I didn't care if there was any monsters nearby. I just wanted my stuff and to get out ASAP. I went back to the entrance and got organized and looked over my stuff. But for some reason, I lost my iron bucket, all of the coal I gathered, and some iron ore. Probably some other items too, but I'm not sure. I went back to see if I left it, but no, I don't know where it all went. Then I heard the growls and spooky noises. And you know what? I don't care for a compass anymore. The cave systems are way too scary and deadly. I'll just take my chances with finding my house again if I lose it. I went got organized and wanted to make more lit torches, but I want to make some matches for it instead of flint and steel, which I need sugarcane for. And I have some still in this village, but I need my gathering to be level 4 for it. I also need to breed my dogs a ton more since the army is looking a little low. So I got to work on the passive animals around here for some easy experience, and then the flash heard that I was having fun and taking RLCraft easy. This is going to be such a fun series. At least now I get to experience the death screen for once. I farmed a little bit off camera, died again, and saw this spooky fairy near me. I didn't want to see if it would kill me, so I waited for it to leave, and I found this weird building thing in this graveyard. I dug up the graves thinking there was loot, but stopped once it got too illegal. And in this chest, there was nothing. But I broke the block above the entrance before recording, and I got this redstone. So that's what made me think this is a trap. And off topic, I think I'm losing items every time I die. I searched the area around, but I still didn't find everything. I wanted to dig up this building to see if there was anything about it, but no, it's just a weirdly placed thing. Even below the chest in the ground, there's nothing, I hope. But I'm sure you'll all tell me, please. Hot Topic came back, and I'm just going to assume from now on that all of them are safe and they heal. Off camera, I'm not sure how far along I was on levels, but I got farming to level 5, so I can collect sugarcane now for the matches. Next, I need to get magic to a level that I forgot about, so I can use bandages. I should probably make a faster way up these stairs, however, I don't want to. I made it to the crafting table and made the compass, and luckily, you guys weren't lying to me. I'm still suspicious of you all, but this is amazing. Now, if I ever die and lose my way home, I can make another compass and come back. With this newfound courage and comfort, I headed down the annoying stairs and did some sick water bucket landings and headed out. I know this won't make any sense at all, but I headed out back to the right, as in the mineshaft behind my tower is to the right, like if you have the village to the left. Anyways, I went that way. I wanted to find mobs or some dungeon to farm so I can get experience. No, not that creeper. And then I found it. I found this little furnace thing and this obsidian tower. So I sharpened my sword, got ready for war, and headed the opposite direction of it because I'm not stupid enough to go into a spooky place like that with the equipment I have. However, I am stupid enough to head into the swamp, which has water everywhere to slow down my sprinting in case I need to escape and look at the snail, then walk into a sparrow from Pokemon and get shot at. I was freaking out at this point because of Dream in the bottom right corner showing that my head was at yellow. I figured I was dead here, and this butthead wouldn't leave me alone, and I couldn't move in this water. Oh, yep, I can break sugarcane. That's so good to know in a moment like this. Until he did leave me alone, and looking at my health, that dream indicator thingy is really misleading. I thought I was close to death, and I only had a scratch. I decided to take it easy and get some coal and easy experience that way, and then fell asleep because night is scary to me. I tried out more of that mining stuff in the morning. I still want to try and get one of those rock monsters to spawn in so I could try out a pickaxe on it, to mainly see if you're all lying to me or telling the truth. But of course, when I want them to spawn, they won't show up. I was back to exploring after collecting all the coal. I don't know why, but the majority of my world is a swamp. I swear a green ogre is nearby, and I let my puppy say hi to every animal that we came across. Gotta stay on the experience grind until one area. I know I'm not going crazy, which is what every crazy person says. There was some alligator kind of sound in the swamp, but I never found it. Was that a friendly or a deadly and unfriendly I never did find out if it was a friendly sound, but I did find this incredibly sus house. It didn't vent, but it did have some shiny items on the chest for me. But I need to raise my gathering level about 3 more times before I can use that shovel. I was going to stay here since it seemed like a good area to farm levels until I saw the poison pool and knew something bad would happen with it. I said hi to the animals around the hut and left, finding myself another hot topic shortly after and healed up my dogs. I spent the rest of the day running around trying to find a dungeon. I want to find one that isn't too difficult, but I know that's dumb of me because this is RLCraft. I went into this little grassy area when I noticed that only the baby wolves were still with me. I don't know when the parents left, but I went back and then they all teleported to me. I guess the grocery store lines were too long. And then the scary sound happened. A dragon. I figured that he saw me and it was over. I was dead and my wolves were lost. I quickly drank some water so I could scream some more and kept on running. Somehow that thing didn't see me, but this fire demon thing of course saw me. I'm learning the hard way to just stay away from lava. Then the demon chased me. Even breaking its line of sight didn't help. Oh hey, a dungeon. I hid under a tree and the thing was right on top of it. It sounded like a dragon, so I treated it the same, as if it would one-shot me. I hit it with my sword a few times and then finished it off with one punch. Man, that was close. After sleeping, I snuck over to the dungeon and hit Spider-Man. Of course, this had to be a blaze one. More fire. I peeked inside and there's 3 spawners on this floor. The longer I wait, the worse it gets. I rushed inside and chanced it with destroying one, getting experience in the process, and it dropped items. I camped outside the door. My dogs had a beautiful view and were helpful and tried to slowly kill the blazes. Some rushed in to finish off a skeleton, but I'm not brave enough to fight fire enemies. They're one of the things I don't want to fight yet in this mod pack. I peeked around the corner and I saw death. My heart was racing and so were my feet. I tried to run away, but 3 fire genies were right on my tail. I know I can't outrun them, so I tried to kill the blue one. I got some hits on it, but I couldn't stay still to fight it. I know I would lose. I caught on fire while retreating. I made it to a pool right below and all of my dogs were on fire. Most made it into the pool and cooled off. My dehydration came in at the worst time. I threw my bucket down and quickly drank. I picked it up and continued running into the forest, somehow losing them. I found this trumpet skeleton and took the time to say hi to it, catch my breath, get situated, and make sure all of my dogs were okay. I took a break in the forest, got some level ups, healed up the wolves with some of the wild animals, and while doing all of this, I saw a massive castle prison thing. Surely a dungeon, and I want to take it on. I went over and said hi to all the locals. I found this graveyard right in front of the prison, which must have been a good sign, and it had the same weird hut thing back home. The chest was alright, turned the cobwebs into string, and then took the easy way of getting the redstone dust. I can see why you guys recommend that I get all my stats to the level 8 first. And now for the fun. It was getting late, the sun is setting, but I wanted to see the entrance first. I spotted some chests over the fence and went to check it out. I broke the spawner in here and gathered the items from it. Then my dogs went crazy at this wall and this zombie boss came at me. He spit some nuke at me and somehow it didn't kill me. My ears were broken and I just wanted to get out at this point. I patted a zombie on its forehead and then went away from the dungeon to fall asleep. In the morning, I was playing with my dogs, making sure they were all fully healed when I put one in my chest. I felt like Iron Man with his arc reactor. Didn't really expect for this to happen. I quietly made my way back into the entrance with my dog sprinting to the wall again and I ate a cookie god. Then I opened the chest. This quickly became my favorite dungeon. A little bit over a dozen weapons in both of these chests. I raised my agility skill so that I could use the bow and now I can finally do ranged combat. I replaced my sword with an iron halberd and grabbed some throwing axe. Ready to take on the dungeon, I think. There's quite a bit of skeletons inside. I first tackled the 2 spawners in front of the building. Well, technically broke them with my pick. Tackling would have hurt and probably killed me knowing this mod pack, getting me my first diamond and some arrows from the chest. It was assigned to use the bow, which I didn't do. I went over to the door and some 8-head looking dude was right there. I tried out the throwing axe and it was actually strong, but only a one-time use. Go figure. The halberd easily killed him and my dogs were of no use. I broke the other 2 spawners outside of the door and got some really good loot and experience. I heard some more pillagers inside and they began to chase me. It's hard to tell, but 3 of them are chasing me. The dogs didn't help me at all. Felt really loved. And kept running back while hitting them. Making it all the way outside. Did some awesome one-shots on the front too, and then my dogs finally realized and helped me out with the last one, which had an enchanted axe. My levels are coming along really nicely, and I got my magic to level 7. Letting me use this new kind of bandage that has the same name as the other bandage. But with this one, I just hold it and use it and it heals my entire body. I headed back into the entrance because the experience here is way too good to leave. I went through the front door and I can tell this place is going to be hard. It also has some kind of spawner spawners in here because the boogeyman came out of nowhere. I stunned one of them with an axe and slipped out the doorway. I was almost caught off guard with a vindicator coming from the side. I did the same thing and kept moving backwards, but one of them landed a hit on me. Luckily, only breaking my legs and not my skull. My dogs finished him off while he was caught on the fence, and I used the new bandage to heal. Definitely enjoying this one more than the other bandage, but the worst happened. I went back to the entrance and a boss was there. It threw me into the air and I died in one shot. He also poisoned my wolves, but they killed them as I laid there. I was stunned. Defeated because, as I respawned, I'm in the ocean. I saw in the distance that there's a giant doo-doo head water snake, and I know my chances are basically 0 of making it out. I also don't want to put in the work of escaping the ocean. I drown myself and respawn, spawning in some icy forest area, and now I have to restart. I need to make a compass to make it back home. I played a couple hours off camera and died to a skeleton once, then remade all of my items again. I was running along the shore and came to this little hill area. It looked like there was a camp, so I wanted to check it out. There was some sticks on the ground. I stole them and went to the center campfire. It's a really cute place. The first chest I opened had medical supplies, which I'm luckily able to use thanks to raising my agility and magic levels. Then the second chest had some iron boots and 2 chest plates inside. The last chest, I'm guessing RLCraft felt bad for me, it was full of valuables, but not as valuable as you, viewer. I hope this year is going well for you and you're having an awesome day. Back to the story, I can almost make the compass. I just need one more iron. I fell asleep in one of the beds and got to exploring in the morning. The sunken boat thing had nothing. I'm not sure what its purpose is. Even though this biome looks like a lush and cool green land, I swear it's either the nether or the desert. The entire time I've been here, I've been trying not to catch on fire. Almost caught on fire at this point until I barely found a water spot and did a waterboarding session that would make the CIA proud. I found some destroyed house, lava monsters across from it, waterboarded myself again, and ran away to a cave. I was running down there, then I saw some skeletons, turned around, and while I was running out, I saw some iron. I risked it and collected the first iron block I saw and ran. I just need one, no need to be greedy. I stopped in a forest and used some slabs to smelt the iron, and then after several hours, I made the compass. And well, I'm about 6,000 blocks from my house. I'm good as dead. This won't be an easy journey. I figured out which way I have to head, and of course, it was the way that I just came. This entire time, this entire respawn, I was running the opposite direction that I needed to go. Luckily, it wasn't too far, maybe 1,000 blocks. Anyways, at first I was traveling through the mountains to see if I could find some more iron, so I can make a bucket to eliminate thirst and to finish off my iron armor. But that quickly changed because I have to travel through the ocean, the one place that has been the absolute most unforgiving to me. I stuck close to the land as much as I could, so I went and run into mermaids and then decided to make a boat. I don't know why I waited until now, but better late than never. I started to see some floating items, structures, and less land, so I was starting to worry because I really don't want to be out in open water. So I went to the shore, broke the boat, and there they were. Mermaids. I made sure not to travel close to the shore so I could avoid them and then got back into the boat to avoid some antlions. Night was coming in, I stopped for the night to sleep. But I know, you guys don't care for all of that. You want to see me suffer. What's my next fight or scare? So let's cut to the fun part. I was boating through the ocean when I found this sunken square. I thought it was a huge chunk error or some kind of mistake. Nope. Apparently not. This is actual land. So I got to the shore and made my way up, the entire time thinking I shouldn't be here. I should run. Then I saw the building. That's not the bad part. I mean, the flags didn't help, but what is the bad part is this mermaid somehow singing to me. Like, I'm on land, I don't see any mermaid rocks or anything, but the curse wore off. I ran away and went on top of this hill. I was looking for the mermaid when the blue dildo came down here onto the shore, and then the land? Makes sense that an aquatic monster can do that. I went back down to the house and was cursed again by her. I'm slowly figuring out where the mermaid is. I mean, I know she's on the opposite side of this hill since that's where it keeps leading me. But I went back to the house to see if there was anything that could make me stronger. I also wanted that flag and then found this fridge with a ton of fish. Surely they wouldn't mind me stealing 64 of it. Even if they did, I don't care. Next, I found some wool pants. Possibly one of the most useless armor items in the game, and then got cursed again. Then went back to the chest spot and stole an iron sword to help me tickle the pillagers. I built to the second floor to see if there was any close chests that I could rob. And of course, I got cursed again and they made me jump off the roof. At this point, I was tired of the mermaids. I went and looked for where they were and then I found them. Well, one, which is a lot better than 2 or 3, but I was dehydrated. So I drank some delicious ocean water and went to the mermaid. I got underneath her and smacked her once. She didn't like my sword going in her, so she one-shot me. Yep. Just like every other enemy in the game, all of this awesome loot and progress gone. I spawned in some forest again that was slowly heating me and saw in the distance that there was 2 dragons. I went the opposite direction, got the starting items, night came and I was rushing a bed, which took me quite some time to make, and then I went to sleep. I didn't record anymore, I played a bit, and this is actually the next day for me. So I got a lot of items from this villager building, a nice pit stop, but I don't want to stay here, mainly because my inventory is full and I want to make it back home to drop it all off. I'm too much of a loot goblin, however, and I went to all of the rooms to double check and make sure that I didn't leave anything important behind, which was a very good decision because I don't know how I skipped these diamonds and other ores. I also don't know if Umbrium is worth collecting or not. I swapped out all of my tools for iron ones that I could get and was going to leave until I heard a skeleton draw its bow and went back inside. I don't feel like dying after making it this far or else I'll just cry. So I went out one of the other doors, jumped a bush, and headed off. I have auto jump off, but for some reason now I can run over blocks without having to jump. I don't know what changed, but I wanted to show this part in case any of you could help me out. And now the long journey is on. I'm about 2,000 blocks away from my house. But let's just fast forward, let's skip the boring. I ran past a dungeon because I don't feel like dying, and finally, after a long journey, I made it home. So I can finally go find where I died before and continue my mission of leveling up. I ran up my stairs and made it back to my bedroom. I was so unbelievably happy here. I got organized since my inventory was still full, and this took quite some time. Now, please, Google couldn't help me here. What is this broken heart? Listening to Juice WRLD or Ariana Grande didn't fix it. Google said to sleep and it'll refill. Spoiler for later on, that didn't work. Killing mobs and the experience from them didn't repair it, so I have no idea how to fix this thing and I really want it. What do I do? Anyways, I went down the stairs and funny enough, I do kind of remember where I went originally, so I should be able to find my dead body, but I got distracted. I thought these were enemies at first and then was insanely creeped out. I don't know how I didn't notice them before, but there's armor here. So I did as any lawyer would and I yoinked them. I took the diamond one, which needs 16 defense, and I'm at 8. And the iron one I took for when I die again, so I have armor immediately. I put the armor stands down in my room and I was going to see if I can enchant, but no, this game hates me and the feeling is mutual. Now let's jump forward about an hour. I was about to fall asleep as it's nighttime and well, there's a blood moon. I'm not a vampire, so I tried to decline the invitation, but apparently they didn't get the memo. So I bravely stayed upstairs to see what would happen. And there they were. Thousands of enemies all over the land. And wow, I was just so tempted to go down there and fight them all. Truly wanted to. But then I was thinking about the experience and maybe I could pull one enemy into the staircase at a time to farm some. I only need 3 more stats to level 8 and I'm all done. But the lower I went, the less I wanted to fight, especially after seeing this monster that kind of reminded me of a gorilla. Then I saw this dinosaur bird and I figured, oh hey, it can't fit through my door. I was immediately proven wrong once the monster came through my door and tried to kiss me all over my face. We had a tickle fight and luckily I didn't die for once and then the bird left to go home. I scolded the door for being too inviting and just couldn't figure out how that thing fit through that. That's what she said. It won't surprise you at all, but after that encounter, I went back upstairs and just hid in my bedroom. I'm okay missing out on the blood moon, but this genie thing wasn't okay with missing out on me. I smacked his cheeks with my bow and he died. He dropped some coarse fruit in a tornado. I tested it out on a piggy, but while doing that, a dinosaur came by and lifted me off. I wasn't screaming at this part and I took it on like a Chad. Very luckily, there was a wall right here and fences, so I thought, fine, I'm camping in my bedroom, not going anywhere. Until the Grim Reaper also didn't want to miss out on me. It took a while because he wouldn't come at me, but I killed him as well. And finally, what felt like 20 hours, the sun came up. I looked around and no baddies were here. It felt like a League of Legends lobby. I went over to the sugarcane that I wanted to farm like 2 days ago and replanted those around the pond. During the night, I did snipe some enemies and saw that they dropped some experience. So I chopped down some trees, but the experience must have despawned at some point. I did, however, get some wood. So there I was, farming mobs off camera again when my dogs teleported to me. I paused the game and began recording and they weren't updating since I wasn't nearby to load their chunks, so they're still poisoned. I was insanely confused because I thought they would have been a lot farther away from my base. I'm right next to the wizard tower and where I found those armor stands. Since they were all low, I wanted to find one of those healing fairies, which took a bit, but there was one slightly out of reach in the village. All of them healed up and I was still really confused how they teleported back to me. But this means that the prison dungeon is really close to my house. The greatest experience farm I have right now is in walking distance. I was walking in the direction that my wolves teleported to me from dumb and I jumped into this little pond to cool off. Right in the distance, the prison. This entire time, that prison was just one tiny hill from my house. I waited just long enough to cool me down a little and headed into the prison. Heat plays a lot of issues nowadays. I hopped over the wall and somehow my items and experience are still here. After over 2 real-life days, I got some of my items back. I was trying to pick up the important items first, but then 8head over here just had to come and fight me. Also, my dogs are useless here. After killing the pillager, I hid in that weapon shed and tried to cool off a little bit. It takes way too long to fully cool down, so I'm just trying to not catch on fire. Anyways, some zombies spawned in and one was a boss. I definitely didn't freak out and think I would die in one hit, so I let my dogs handle it. Once we all said hi to him, he dropped some enchanted silver leggings. Not sure if it's better than iron, but I put them on because why not? I almost have all my stats to level 8 now. I want to stay here until it's all finished. I stayed under the healing fairy to heal us all up and then chilled out in the pond. After taking my nappy, I headed back into the prison and was going to pick up the rest of my items, but no, they all despawned sadly. I luckily got some items back, but it still sucks. Now to enter the building, which is going to be incredibly difficult. Pillagers keep on spawning and my dogs don't want to bite their ankles. It was just wave after wave of specifically 2 or 3 pillagers, and we were slowly pushing our way in. Without these dogs, it wouldn't be possible. First thing I want to find are the spawners, and I narrowed them down to these corners, which I found out from them spawning in. They're in all corners, and I can't find them. While digging, some more spawned in, so I rushed up the ladder to the 2nd floor. I was getting anxious at this point and really wanted to try and get out. I'm in way too deep. I've lost over half of the dogs. No idea where they are. I think they're below me, but I'm not too sure. And the zombies spawned in. Just a squad of them, and we easily took them down. I was tempted to dig out the wall and jump to freedom, but I'm greedy and I like experience. I went down the hallway and broke a spawner. A zombie spawned in and, awkwardly enough, the baby wolf fought him, while the adults stared into the floor. There's 2 chests up here, but it's just food or rotten flesh, which I'll most definitely need to repopulate my dog army. They all jumped down this hole in the roof, and I would have followed, but my highly intelligent brain said not to. So I dug out the wall, hopped down into the courtyard, and then got all of my stats to level 8. And a smart person would have left here, but I wanted to see if I could tackle this entire dungeon and break all spawners. I don't know why either. Or maybe it was because of these chests with these awesome items. I got some golden apples, lots of medical supplies, ores, and this notch apple. After that, I bred some of the wolves to keep the army strong and came to this beautiful courtyard, which I'm definitely not going to walk out into. Instead, I began to break this wall since my dogs were really into it and I couldn't even finish before they started to run in even more. After I was able to break it down, it was a room with wither skeletons and a witch. I immediately ran back because of the poison. I didn't want to get hit by it, but too late. I missed some critical hits and she poisoned me. My heart sank in. I thought I was dead here. Instead of chancing it, I ran outside and began to use the bandages. The entire time, my head was almost reaching red. The bandage was going to run out though, so I sprinted outside looking for a healing fairy, which very luckily, I found one. She began to heal me and the wolves up, and I just took a breather out here. I was almost on fire, so I went to the pond again. I drank the totally safe to drink water, and then once I was bored enough of sitting in there, I went back into the prison. I don't know where the witch went. Oh, found her. So we began to play tickle fight with her, but with her dying breath, she threw one last poison bottle at me. Same thing, I just went back to the healing fairy and healed up with my dogs. Then headed back inside because I'm dumb. I wanted to remove the spawners in this room to prevent any more witches from coming, and then looked inside of the chest. Even though my inventory is full and it would have been incredibly smart for me to head back home to drop everything off, but what's the worst that could happen? It was just enchanting books in here. I tried to take this anvil, but I'm not high enough level, sadly. Then it happened. The pillager spawned in. He wasn't the issue. It was the invisible one that was the issue. I died. Again. After all of that time getting back here, it was for nothing. And I spawned in the middle of nowhere again. And night fell. I'll just continue this journey in episode 3, which I want you all to tell me what I should do in it.
And if I find a way to get it, when I do it, I can live it and forget it. Cause I hate how much I love you, or I hate how you just put me in my feelings. I just wish you understood the gravity, but you got low.